Hey guys, Min here. Welcome back to Your House Fitness. Today we're going to go over the Renegade Row. It's a little bit of a combination between two exercises. So I highly recommend before you do this, you go check out how to do a dumbbell row and check out how to do a plank, and I'll make sure you guys are safe and you get all the prerequisites beforehand. So if I mention certain cues, you will know exactly what to do once you get to the Renegade Row, as this is a more intermediate to advanced exercise. One of the things with the Renegade Row is I see it more as a core stability exercise. If you think about it, most people fail the Renegade Row because they lose the stability in their core. You start turning and their form gets really ugly. And typically speaking, most people can row much more than they can Renegade Row, right? So I'm gonna treat this like a core exercise. So I would pick a load or a weight or a set scheme with reps that complement core stability. I wouldn't just, max out as much weight as possible and go for like 5 rep maxes. Treat it as what it is. Now, how do we start with the Renegade Row? First and foremost, I highly recommend you get a dumbbell that is either a square or hex shape. What I mean by that is, you see how we got like these flats here on our dumbbells? This will ensure that you can actually balance on these dumbbells without fear of you rolling and hurting yourself. So I highly advise against using this with very circular or round dumbbells due to the fact you can roll. Those have other purposes, but for the Renegade Row itself, I highly recommend picking something that's either hexagonal, octagonal, or flat. It could be like a big cube. There's many equipment out there. Alternatively, if you have big kettlebells, right, that are relatively even shape, like we have over here, this flatness will help you out, though rowing this will be very challenging on your stability as you gotta balance on top of the bell. So you gotta kind of pick your battles, figure out which works for you, assess what's safest as well. I highly recommend, I highly advocate honestly for being safe when you train. With that being said, and all disclaimers out the way, let's get into the exercise itself. I like having a shoulder width or somewhere between 1.5 times shoulder width position. This will vary. I highly suggest feeling comfortable and confident when you're in your base position, all right? And what that means is I'm gonna set the dumbbell out already where I'm gonna kind of start rowing, but I'm also gonna feel very stable and strong in my plank. So I'm here with these dumbbells. I got them slightly turned 45, that's just comfortable for me. For you, it might be parallel, it might be a little wider, it might be even more narrow. I get my hands stacked with my wrists, elbows, and shoulders. So my hand, wrist, elbow, shoulders are all stacked. And I'm just gonna start with a plank, and a really strong one first and foremost. When I'm in this plank, I wanna be very stable. A lot of times people are already moving when they're in the plank, they're shaking intensely. A few cues you can do. Make sure your chest is already pushed far away from the floor. This will put your shoulder blades into protraction, right? And later when we row, we're gonna be going through retraction, so you'll get more range of motion, but also you'll start in a much more stable scapular position. Tight core brace, you're squeezing your whole lower body as well. I want everything involved in this. So I'm squeezing everything, my wrist and all that is stacked. And I'm gonna take a very deep breath in. And I might even just practice a round or two like this, just doing a plank on these dumbbells, feeling confident, feeling safe. Once you guys kind of get your base position, you can start your row. I prefer doing it on my weaker hand first, so for me that's my left side, and I'm gonna row my left arm while my right arm is pressing through the floor to create that stability. Here we go, I'm in my Renegade position. I got a little bit of a plank going. I take that deep breath in, and I'm gonna row it towards my sternum, bring it right back down. I go to the other arm, and I can alternate, like so. Now, if you really struggle on one side, no need to alternate. Just practice on that one side. Do 5 reps, take 10 seconds, and do 5 on the other, just so you can clean up your form and your technique. So this is what it looks like you did on the same side. He's doing the left arm. I'm in my Renegade position. I got the plank going, and I'm just gonna row 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I can come down, rest a bit, get my core to recover for that split 10, 20 seconds, and then I'll do the other arm. Few mistakes I see with the Renegade Row. If it's too heavy, people will tend to turn their whole body up towards the side they're rowing from, like so. This is gonna just kill a lot of the main concepts of a plank, right? I want to be very stable when I'm doing this. I don't want to break my core stability and use my whole hip and body just to turn it up. I want to stay squared with the floor as best I can and rely on my scapular retractors and lats to pull my arms there. A few tips I can give you: if you're not very strong, you can always widen your feet out for a greater base of support. If you need a challenge, bring your feet closer for a smaller base of support. It is significantly easier to hold a plank with your feet out and Renegade Row like this than it is with your feet together. So if you guys are struggling and you're like, man, I can't really go much lighter with the weights, maybe your back is much stronger than your core, I would widen out your legs just so you get that big base of support, and then work at that level where you feel that you're being stimulated for growth, but it's not so difficult that you have to cheat every repetition just to get through your set. All right, let me show you a few shots from the front. I got my dumbbells lined up in front of me. I'm stacked, core is tight, legs engaged. I'm squeezing everything. I'm pushing one arm down, holding the other arm up. There we go. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.